Have you been injured at work? If so, what benefits can you expect under the Virginia Workers' Compensation Act? Hi, I'm Brian Slaughter. I'm the Senior Workers' Compensation Attorney at Kalfus Nachman. I've handled workers' compensation cases across the Commonwealth of Virginia for the last 25 years. You might be surprised to know what you can and cannot receive under workers' compensation law. The Virginia Workers' Compensation Act, a series of laws that was passed in the early 1900s, established a program of clearly defined benefits for people injured in work accidents, and also excluded other important legal rights that you had before that we don't have today. Before workers' compensation laws were adopted in the early 1900s, there was nothing special about being injured while at work. The only way someone who was injured at work could ever be compensated for having been injured was to file a personal injury action, and most of those failed. Why? Well, accidents are just that, accidents. It's not always someone's fault. So employers weren't being held accountable. That's why workers' compensation was adopted in the early 1900s. When the Virginia Workers' Compensation Act was passed, the idea was for it to provide a bridge, or a safety line, if you will, for injured workers to get them from their accident through their treatment and recovery and then back to full return to work. The Act provided two broad categories of benefits, medical and compensation. Medical benefits, pretty straightforward. The Workers' Compensation Act provides that you receive medical treatment for as long as necessary, as long as the treatment is related to your accident and the treatment is both reasonable and necessary. Now, compensation benefits is a little more complicated. There's three types: temporary total disability, temporary partial disability, and what we call permanent partial disability. Temporary total disability benefits are compensation paid to you when you are out of work entirely. You're not working at all. Temporary partial disability benefits provides you with some partial compensation when you're back to work, but you can't work full hours and work your full wages. Finally, permanent partial disability benefits provide you with some compensation when you have a permanent loss of use of a body part. That's it. There's no pain and suffering like you might hear about in personal injury cases. There's no general damages for compensation for being in an accident. That said, workers' compensation cases almost always settle. It's not a question of if, it's really a question of when. Timing is very important in workers' compensation cases. So why am I telling you this? Well, I'm telling you this because workers' compensation is a detail-oriented, complicated area of the law. And it's important to hire an experienced workers' compensation attorney to explain your rights and help you through the process to get you all the benefits you're entitled to. What I want you to do now is pick up the phone and give me a call, Brian Slaughter at Kalfus Nachman, and I can help you with your case.